Hi, everyone, and welcome to my I Love Learning podcast today, where we explore leadership, learning science, and workplace learning and personal transformation. I'm Dr. Gina Anderson. I'm a learning scientist and CEO of Luma Brighter Learning, and I am a passionate believer that when learning in small actions, they can spark extraordinary change. So if you'd like to learn more about my work in learning science and workplace learning, visit me at Luma Brighter Learning. And I don't know if you know this, but this season is all about the power of small, where I explore with other people how tiny habits and small mindset shifts in everyday learning moments can lead to meaningful transformation in our work, in our relationships, and in our lives. And if you believe that growth and leadership development doesn't have to be overwhelming, real change often begins with one small step. This podcast is definitely for you if you believe that. In each week, I talk with leaders, I talk with innovators, and I actually talk to a lot of inspiring individuals about how learning and small daily actions can shape resilience and personal growth. And if you like our conversations, I'd appreciate it if you follow the I Love Learning podcast on YouTube and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if something inspires you today, leave a comment or share your story because I love to learn how small changes in your life are making a big difference. And today, I have a very special guest, and I hope our conversation will inspire you. So I met Christie Brown at the Women in Trucking event in North Carolina, and I knew the moment that I met her that I wanted her on my podcast to share with you her incredibly powerful story, her passion that is tied to resilience. And it actually is set in the context of grief and healing. But she has a beautiful story of how she takes small action and steps to move herself forward. And she is the accounting specialist at Chief Express. I'm so honored today, Christie, to have you on my podcast. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
taking
having
a
me.
leap and coming on my show. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone and tell us what you're passionate about?
Okay, I'm Christie Brown. I'm a child of God, wife to my wonderful husband Brent, mother to my beautiful daughter Caitlin. I work for Chief Express. I'm the accountant specialist there. I am very passionate about the youth of our church. I'm a Sunday school teacher. I work with our youth ministry as much as possible. And the Lord has just done so much for me in my life, and I'm just trying to do something to give back, to be a good testimony for Him.
Oh,
So,
I love that you're such a good person and you love to give back. I think about this idea of like small moments in our life that have had, maybe a big impact. Can you share with everyone maybe one small moment in your journey that changed everything for you?
so in 2018, September 2018, I was in a car accident. I was 8 months pregnant with my daughter Cammy Jo, and sorry, I'm gonna try to get through this today. And in just a few seconds, changed my entire life. Um, I went down an embankment and hit a tree, and sorry,
It's all right.
and I was very broken up. I should not have made it. I had, I tried to make a list so I wouldn't forget anything. I had a, um, I had a broken tibia. I had a broken humerus. Um, I'll tell you what happened first. I went down the embankment, and there was a couple that just happened to be coming by. It was a Wednesday night. I was coming home from work to go to church, and I went down the embankment, and a couple came by and saw me. The woman was driving, and the husband just happened to look down the embankment and saw my car. They called for help. The first responder that got there, he was on his way to the fire department, and just happened to live nearby and came across me first. Had all of his equipment in the truck. I mean, just everything just lined up. The Lord just worked so many things out for me. The helicopter that took me to UNC, it was already in the air. Um, Sorry.
No, it's okay. You
I
know,
just,
the thing about grief, like I write about grief a lot from a learning science standpoint. And the thing is, like, when you go through something like that, sometimes you feel like you're not going to be able to go forward. And there's a lot of literature that talks about where people think it's something that you have to get over. Like, this isn't something that you get over. And everyone has their own time and their own space for grief, and it's something that you take a small step every moment forward to get through it. And even you talking about going back in the time from 2018, it's with you in your heart every day. So how do you, like, knowing, I mean, this pain and the grief that you've had, like, how do you continue to move forward from this? You've lost so much, right? You've lost so much, but how do you move forward when you've had that deep grief in your life?
one step at a time, one day at a time. Most days I'm okay now.
Yeah.
As time goes on, it's less often that you deal with it as much. But just I keep my first the Lord. I mean the Lord. Like I said, I was down in an embankment. I had several broken bones. My arm, my leg, my knee was shattered. Um, Multiple ribs. While I was in the hospital, they took out my spleen. I woke up on a ventilator with a feeding tube. Um, there's just so many injuries. A brain bleed. I mean, that's just huge.
Wow.
But when I woke up in the car, the first thing I thought of was I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out. So my first thought was to pray. And I know that the Lord, He's always there for you if you need Him. And that's what I did. I just prayed. I said, Lord, please, you just send me someone, send me someone. And He did. He sent those people. He sent the first responder. He sent the helicopter. I mean, just He worked everything out for me. And that's when I can't do it myself. That's where I go to. I go to the Lord. I pray about it. Secondly, good friends. I have some great friends that if I need to call them in the middle of the night, they would be there for me. They would lift me back up. I had one really good friend who actually worked at UNC, but in a different department, and she would come and pray over me while I was sleeping. Just keep positive people that will lift you up on the days that you can't do it yourself.
I love that. You definitely need a community. You need a community. You can't do anything. It's hard to do anything alone, You just have to take the first step forward, and knowing that tomorrow is going to be a new day, to consider how you're going to get through it. And maybe you can share like a small moment, even if it's noticing the blue sky, or noticing, that you can still smile at certain things. Maybe it's a flower. I ran this past weekend. I love looking at the flowers in Charleston. They're so pretty, Christy. I love it. I know that sounds silly, but like after a dark winter and all the snowstorms, you see that first seed of a sprout. It just helps you continue to move forward. So what helps you stay happy? Like, what do you think about that?
Okay, so one of the things I did the spring after we lost our daughter was I started a flower garden in her memory.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that.
Yes,
See?
it's all pinks and purples, and every year I add something else to it. When I started it, I'm still on a cane. I mean, I spent months in a wheelchair because my knee had been
Wow.
crushed. But I was still on a cane, and we started the flower bed, and I still do that. I craft. Being around the kids, the youth, they inspire me. Their faces just light up. I mean,
Oh,
nothing like it.
yeah.
They're great. So
I
they
love
strive to
that.
make me want to be better.
Yeah, like being around
Yes,
young children since you lost your daughter really helps.
yes,
Like being and teaching them and being connected, and I love that because you can continue to love, others and
right.
spread love, right? And that's why I got connected to you without fully knowing your story, because I could feel your love in the room because you walk around and you spread it to everyone. So I love that you plant flowers and you give love to others. It's so awesome. So last week, if you remember at the conference, Nina Elin spoke, and she was on stage and she asked this question. She wanted me to ask you if you had any tips for our audience to help us understand that our circumstances in life don't limit us. So how do you move forward and not let your circumstance, so like in your case, the loss, dictate who we are today? So how do you not let that impact you every day?
Okay, so I'm a firm believer that God has a plan for everyone. You just have to be willing to receive it. Um, I found that if you stay down, I mean, when you're depressed, if you stay there, if you stay in solitude, that's probably where you're going to be. But if you reach out to your friends, like I said before, to family members, to others to help lift you back up, that helps you. For me, the youth just, I mean, working with them, like I said, you can be having the worst day, and one of those little kids come in and just smiles, and they're
Oh,
just full of love. I mean, you can't be depressed that way. I mean,
yeah.
I I I have a really good friend, Lee. She has a daughter. She had a daughter named Milani. Milani was sick from birth up and was not expected to live past, I think, 3 or 4. Um, she would come when I was in the hospital in my accident. I was there for 45 days. If that's any indication
Wow.
of how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
She would come a lot of times after her blood transfusions and stuff, and come to my room and try to cheer me up and take selfies or leave messages on my phone or um, just make me laugh. She's just the most kind-hearted child ever, and she had went through so much and was always going through so much, but she always had such a positive attitude. And I thought, well, how can I be down around somebody like that? She's been through way so much more than me. Most of my injuries will eventually, recover, but she knows she goes through this all the time, and she still has a positive attitude. We lost her a couple of years ago. About she was 17, but she finally went to be with the Lord. But that child has left just a lasting impression on me. Her and her mom are just the best people ever, the greatest ever.
You say that. That's an interesting suggestion. So I think about my dog, who was a therapy dog, with my mom, who I lost, and they used to go to the children's hospital. And you think about, if you're feeling really down, if you go into a children's hospital, like even children that have cancer, I mean, they're so grateful. A lot of them, I mean, they lift you up, and you think, like, if you're struggling, even going out and being with people like that and helping out in those
Right.
situations can help you feel better. And in those situations, you look and you start to develop this idea of being grateful, right? Like grateful for those times you have with those individuals. I think that's a beautiful. When you shared that about your friend there, I mean, that's an interesting thought, because a lot of times if you're depressed, you stay at home and you think, I'm just not going to do anything. But even if you do something small, like spend a day like that, it can make a big difference in your life.
If you can concentrate on someone else, there's always someone that's worse off than you. And if you can get that in your head, then it's hard to stay depressed,
Yeah, that's true. That's
people.
true. I
So
like That's a great suggestion. So next week, my guest is Mark Phillips, and I actually met him. He was posting such goodness out on social media to some drivers who were struggling, and I invited him next week to come on my podcast. He is the vice president of operations at Sharkley Transportation. What do you think we should ask him next week?
I would like to know for him to tell us someone who has impacted his life and why.
Oh, all
So,
right, we'll find
Milani's
that out. I
yes.
love that. So I don't know if I told you this, Christy. I might have, but I started my podcast because in 2023 I had truck drivers reaching out to me telling me they were depressed. And we were going through a loneliness epidemic, and I do feel that it hasn't changed very much in 3 years. There's a lot going on in our environment. Mental health is a constant struggle for a lot of people. What do you think if someone is listening to us today, and they think, well, I've lost my passion. I don't want to go out to a children's hospital. I don't know how to step forward. What advice would you offer them to help them move to the next step in their life?
First and most importantly, I always go to God in prayer. He can change anything. He knows what we need even before we do, just like my wreck. When I woke up in that car, I was alone. No one was there. I knew I couldn't get out, and he helped me. I prayed for him, to him. Also, get around good friends. They're positive, encourage you. The people you know the best, that know you the best, they know what you need. So they can encourage you and help you move forward. On the day, like I said before, on the days you're struggling with a friend, get out to a friend. Try to get outside, just like we were talking about the garden. That was one of the things I had listed. Just get outside. Being stuck in this house for so long, it was so depressing. Once I was able to get out, it helped me tremendously. So even if you don't feel like getting out, go take a shower, get out of the house.
Yeah.
Just get out around people. You'll be amazed at how much it will help you. You think, no, I don't feel like dealing with nobody. But if you'll just take that step, I promise it'll make a big difference. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. I was running a couple of weeks ago. I run a lot, and somebody took sidewalk chalk and they wrote beautiful sunshines and they had rainbows and they say, make today be a great day. And I think about this, and I was thinking about this as our time together came today. And I thought, what if everyone today like wrote a message, whether it's sidewalk chalk or just on a piece of paper, and put it on someone's desk today, and just lift somebody up. You never know what somebody's going through, and that could be the moment that changed their whole day. I was running and I saw that, and I love that. It's like you don't expect to see that, and who knows if it was a child that did it or an adult, but we all have a moment to change someone's day just by the words we say. So what do you want? What small lasting words can you leave us with today, Christie, that we can put in our pocket and take it with us? What do you think?
Okay, so pray often, stay in your Bible, keep people around you that will help lift you up when you're unable to. Take one day at a time. Always be kind to others because you never know what others are going through. One nice gesture, kind words, or even a smile can completely change someone's day. You can't always change what life throws at you, but you can change how you react to it. And you're a testimony to others, sometimes even when you don't realize it. So
I love that. I want to put,
yeah.
I love that. I'm going to put, look at Jenny Poe. Let's give her a shout out. She said, you're such an inspiration. Thank you, Jenny, for joining us today. And thank you, everyone that came today. Yes, take day by day, and Christie, keep shining, keep being an inspiration, and thank you for changing lives. I appreciate your love that you give, and you brighten up an entire room. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, everyone, that was my podcast today. I hope you're inspired. I hope you have a great week. And until next week, we will see you. Be kind and take care.